The world we live in is the result of a simulation crafted by forces seeking to deceive humanity. An invisible prison built on the foundation of religion, which can only collapse through human will to escape the illusion. The WingMakers are interdimensional forces whose teachings have been shared through websites, digital content, and also interviews with a figure named Dr. Jamison Neruda. They are a mysterious extraterrestrial race that has influenced human civilization throughout history, with their primary mission being to acquaint humanity with the true nature of the world they inhabit. If you have seen the first video about these forces, you are likely familiar with their explanation that the first version of humanity was the result of a collaboration between the Anunnaki, the Sirians, and the Reptilians. The Anunnaki sought a workforce to mine Earth's gold, while the Sirians and Reptilians wanted a laboratory to explore the physical world. Thus, they create human bodies with specialized implants capable of functioning in the physical, three-dimensional realm. But activation required an inner energy source. This energy was derived by imprisoning Atlanteans in physical bodies. In this narrative, Atlantis and its inhabitants are described as a civilization beyond the known history of humanity, not physically present on Earth, but existing in a dimension beyond our current three-dimensional reality. However, at a certain point, some of them entered physical human bodies and began to exist in the three-dimensional world. Therefore, humans are essentially infinite beings, rooted in the mythical Atlantis but are now trapped in their current physical forms. One important question posed to Dr. Neruda was how the Atlanteans, as advanced and infinite beings, allowed themselves to be imprisoned in physical bodies. The response characterized them as naive beings who had no concept of the possibility of enslavement, meaning that the idea of slavery and servitude did not exist in their culture. Up to that point, they had neither enslaved others, nor had anyone attempted to enslave them. Thus, when they first donned human form, they had no understanding of the bitter consequences that awaited them. The first version of humanity, designed with suitable physical capabilities for living on Earth, could easily communicate. However, since all individuals were clones of one another, they shared identical behaviours and thoughts, lacking the capacity for individual ideas. Consequently, those whose inner energy sought personal experiences began experiencing severe psychological distress, eventually descending into madness. The continuation of this trend and the increasingly erratic behaviours led Anu to consider their destruction. This culminated in the Great Flood, which religious narratives identify as Noah's flood. In this account, Marduk intervenes as the saviour of some humans, but, in the post-flood era, focuses on enhancing and activating implants to create the second version of humans, capable of reproduction and greater abilities. This second version of humanity was more advanced. Some Anunnaki even formed relationships with women from this group, resulting in a new hybrid generation of Anunnaki human offspring. As a result, the human population on Earth became more diverse, no longer consisting solely of clones. Some individuals even developed unique skills and abilities, which alarmed the forces seeking to control them. If humans had realized their true potential and remembered their origins, namely the Atlanteans trapped in human form, the entire plan would have collapsed. Thus, Anu sought to tighten control over humanity, leading to the birth of religion. This religion was centered around Anu as the supreme god, instilling the belief that humans always needed a master or ruler. This became a cornerstone of the brainwashing program. With the collaboration of Marduk and the Sirians, an environment named Eden was created to set the stage for the story of Adam and Eve and their fall from grace. Ultimately, a religion emerged in which Anu was portrayed as the supreme force governing this world. According to this narrative, humanity's second version was introduced to the concept of external higher power and was taught that their exile from paradise was due to their pursuit of greater knowledge or self-awareness. This initiated a process of suppression and guilt imposed by a higher power that repeatedly hindered the enlightenment of human minds under various pretexts. An additional explanation highlights that shortly before the flood intended to destroy the first version of humans, Anu realized that the gold extracted from Earth was sufficient to meet their needs, allowing the Anunnaki to leave the planet. However, the temptation of becoming the god of the Atlanteans was a compelling allure Anu could not resist. The Sirians and the serpents, who had transformed Earth into a laboratory for studying the conditions of the three-dimensional world, also participated in this process. If their ambition of becoming supreme gods of the three-dimensional humans succeeded, they could use the same method to enslave and dominate other races on other planets. Another key point is Earth's unique core quality, which distinguishes it from other interdimensional realms. During their first visit to Earth, these beings discovered that its core generates a field enabling the planet to fully materialize, making it capable of hosting physical life. This feature was also replicated to create more three-dimensional planets. By copying Earth's core and implanting it into other celestial bodies, they managed to simulate Earth-like environments. The magnetic fields linked to Earth's core are described as unparalleled. If life itself is considered an aspect of intelligence, it has been argued that these fields are alive in their own right. In the WingMakers narrative, as part of the plan to perpetuate humanity's enslavement, Marduk programmed the implants of the second version of humans to instill both a need for a higher power, identified as God, and the concept of awaiting a saviour in an apocalyptic future, meaning that the first version of humanity was completely unaware of the origins of its world. However, as signs of behavioural changes began to emerge that could lead to their awakening, plans for the second version of humans were initiated. These humans were programmed with an intrinsic desire for a creator and a belief in God. Through modifications made by the Sirians to human implants, the belief in a creator and the longing to understand this deity were embedded in human nature. The next phase of humanity's evolutionary line was directed towards embracing religious beliefs. One ultimate goal was to prepare for Anu's eventual return to Earth. The entire narrative of the Saviour's advent was pre-designed for this re-entry. Human evolution was carefully orchestrated so that Anu's return to Earth would be perceived as a phenomenon tied to humanity's salvation. The accompanying message reinforced the idea that all humans are Anu's children, and that his return would bring the glory of God to Earth. These ideas were implanted into human minds using the implants designed by the Sirians and installed and activated by Marduk. These implants were seamlessly integrated into human bodies and function flawlessly, causing humans to perceive any suggestions transmitted through them as their own thoughts and emotions. Even concepts such as thinking about God, heaven and hell, or the afterlife are categorized as implanted suggestions. In this narrative, the phenomenon known as the soul is portrayed as a construct within the overarching program. It acts as a repository containing all the existential memories of an individual across both the first and second versions of the human body. For most people, the soul functions like a vast storage unit, preserving all the data of their physical life. However, it is not the vital force that drives human movement and existence. Instead, the soul itself is described as part of the functional implants, which must be deactivated for one to liberate themselves from the human body. The ultimate goal of all the programming is to disconnect humanity from the awareness of the boundless force residing within their physical forms. The narrative further explains that the promotion of Anu as the supreme god served as the foundation for the establishment of various religions and even esoteric sects. These systems operate through interlinked hierarchies, engaging seekers of eternal happiness in master-disciple relationships. They also delve into the concept of an afterlife, a life purportedly filled with endless rewards, contingent upon one's faith and obedience to the commands of God and his earthly representatives. However, even the afterlife is described as part of humanity's grand deception, a tool designed to perpetuate human ignorance and entrapment. In the WingMakers narrative, the world we inhabit is composed of multiple layers, each designed to ensure the enslavement of Atlanteans in human form. With each death, humans move from one level to the next, and their perception is that their world has changed. This world is structured like a hologram, appearing real based on the sensory implants within the physical body. Simultaneously, veils have been placed to obscure the true reality of humans, trapping them in a simulated world, an illusion. The good news is that anyone can break free from this illusion. No teacher or guide is necessary. There is also no need for God or a higher power to appear on the scene to bring humanity to salvation. Everything is in the hands of humans themselves. In the teachings of the WingMakers, there is mention of teachers like Christ who attempted to awaken humanity to this illusion. However, those who followed these teachers and became religious leaders gradually altered the core teachings, using them as a foundation for the program of deception and illusion in the human world. This condition is described as following shadows, and as long as humanity remains asleep to this deception, Anu remains the only God in this world. But if human awakening occurs, all will realize that they themselves, both individually and collectively, are God. This awakening is said to occur in humanity's future history, as the WingMakers introduce themselves as descendants of awakened humans who have transcended the physical dimensions of time and space. The messages attributed to the WingMakers are said to be from individuals of the future who have connected back in time to show humans the path to liberation and accelerate their escape from enslavement. This freedom does not come after death, so programming and planning regarding the physical world also extends to the afterlife narratives. Essentially, all human experiences in their human form are the result of millions of years of evolutionary design, keeping them connected to the hologram. In this illusory world, there is light and brightness. There is also the individual and collective soul, or a hierarchy of angels, masters and teachers. Concepts such as karma and reincarnation, heaven and hell, and even the Akashic records are all part of the changes that led to the evolution of the first version of humanity into its second. Even some humans have been programmed to discover these concepts in their subconscious minds and share them. In the WingMakers narrative, individuals who fuel religions, cults and philosophies, whether in support of or in opposition to the more widely accepted religions, play a significant role in maintaining humanity's illusion. The result of all these movements is the same. Humans remain ensnared in their delusions, confused and unaware of their true essence. Each of these movements offers lessons that humanity must learn and follow. Earth has become a school with diverse classes, and the main message of each class is that, with adequate education and passing the test, a better life awaits after death. The advice is to wear your human form, not rebel, stay connected to the three-dimensional world, and hope for a better world after death. The harsh reality, however, is that after death, the energy trapped in the human body is met by a guardian who directs it to a place where it can begin a new life in the three-dimensional world. Often, individuals are taken through a life review, where they reflect on their past lives in great detail, and based on their experiences, the options for their next life and reincarnation are determined. In essence, they return to the same illusory, three-dimensional world and begin a new journey with a new family, continuing along a pre-programmed path. Thus, the discussions of various religions and beliefs about the afterlife are presented as part of a deliberate program to maintain humanity's enslavement within a simulated world. To change this situation and escape the illusion, each individual must awaken, remain awake, and connect to all beings in the universe to create a network of awakened forces. This awakening cannot simply be achieved by reading words or having inner intentions alone. It is the behaviour of humans that will spark change. Specifically, two types of behaviours are mentioned. Positive behaviours such as compassion, humility, forgiveness, understanding and courage, which can manifest in the actions of any individual, and negative behaviours that strengthen the illusionary world and must be avoided. These transformations are not solely driven by humans, but also by forces within the Earth that will play a role in facilitating this awakening. The explanation continues with a profound reflection on the gradual compression of the human world over a long period. This compression is rooted in the magnetic fields associated with the Earth's core, which are described as unique and even as sentient, intelligent forces. These fields have been interacting with the human forms created by the Anunnaki and Sirians, but it seems that the full extent of this interaction was overlooked by them. Earth itself is presented as an extraordinary phenomenon in constant interaction with the entire cosmos. It is even suggested that non-physical beings, when sufficiently close to Earth and present for a long enough period, can materialize into the physical world. The Anunnaki, having been aware of the Earth's unique properties, limited their physical presence on Earth, preferring to focus on the creation of humans for gold extraction rather than directly engaging with the material world. They did not want to be physically present in the material realm for extended periods. The reason the Anunnaki are not active in today's world is tied to the increasing density of the physical world. The compression of the three-dimensional realm has reached a point where they can no longer interact directly with it. This limitation has also curtailed Anu's ability to engage with his creation directly. The world we know is gradually being compressed, and when this compression reaches a critical mass, the entire system will collapse, leading to the emergence of a new system. This system is referred to as the sovereign integral network, which can manifest instantaneously, provided the right conditions are met. With the emergence of this new system, the third version of humanity will arise outside of the three-dimensional world. This new model is based on self-awareness and serves as the beginning of a process or phenomenon known as the Great Portal. This moment represents the point at which humanity achieves unity and equality, understanding at last that it is not separate from, but rather intrinsically connected to, the primary force, what has been referred to as God. This force is beyond the limitations of time and space, existing on par with those who have presented themselves as gods throughout history. In this new paradigm, humanity will recognize its true potential, breaking free from the illusion of separation and realizing its inherent divinity.